Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Modi Ji ki Jai. Sorry about all the disruptions during the Aarti. Sometimes Krishna takes over and his naughtiness, you can't do anything with that. Just we've been sharing the very good news with everyone. Have you got the good news? You got the good news? That right now you are free. Got it? Right now you are free. Consciousness is unborn, or we can say consciousness is not yet taken birth as an individual entity that you might consider yourself to be. Whether you call this unassociated being, or the unborn mind, or Krishna consciousness, or the Sadguru himself. This good news makes your spiritual seeking, makes your spiritual journey very light. Because if you keep starting satsang, if you keep starting this sharing from the perspective of your individuality, if you pick up your identity, then it feels like you have to drop it. But actually the dropping is nothing but the letting it come and go. Okay? That's why Guruji says it's not a becoming. Because becoming is about the future. What is already here, the recognition of that is the recognition of your unassociated being, empty of the concept of suffering. The seeker is also suffering. The finder is also suffering. Neither position is true. It is not that you lost the self and therefore we now take on the adventure of looking for the self. You see? Maybe close this door. What should we go looking for? Only that which is not here? Does it make sense to look for that which always is? So before you embark on a search, can you clarify your goal? What already is all that you will ever be. But you pick up a mistaken notion about yourself. And that mistaken notion is what we are trying to get rid of. So to kill the ego, might sound like a very drastic statement, but actually it is only dropping a notion. Doesn't sound as dramatic, I know. The entirety of the spiritual journey has been about dropping a notion. Doesn't sound as dramatic as saying the entire spiritual journey has been about killing the ego. But it is just that. It is just a notion that you are a separate, limited identity. A notion reinforced by our mind with every thought. You are not experiencing separation. You are judging what is as separate. Therefore, when we talk about this innocence as a child, to come to our childlike innocence only means this: to not have a notion about anything, especially ourselves. So, what is your starting point? What is your starting point now? Now, the lawyer in your head will say, but, but I don't feel like I'm enlightened. I don't feel this freedom. But what am I going to do about my job? But what am I going to do about my money? What am I going to do about my relationship? What am I going to do about this body? These are the four things that bother everyone in different combinations. The mind, with all its complexity, is just made of combinations of these four variables. But none of these are true about you now, in this moment. Today is just going to be like this. Huh? So, right here and now, without a notion, without a thought about it, Are you free or bound? Or neither? How can I say with such certainty that this is true for all of you? Because this is always how it is. You see? Your checking is not changing your reality. It is only changing your perception of reality. Now, the biggest problem is that it's too simple. Ananta, it's not fair. You must give me at least something to do. Okay, what you have to do is not believe your next thought. See? Okay, this is what I have to do. And then someone will say, no, no, that one I tried, it doesn't work for me. So we are back in the same game again. All that I've said is don't believe a notion about yourself. Is it? But the minute you hear that there is something to do, including this, the sense of doership or non-doership arises. So all of satsang is a settling into this neutrality of not having a position. It is the most natural for us. Everything that has to happen naturally is here. You are hearing these words. You're perceiving a world around you. All these are coming and going. But even this coming and going is perceived effortlessly and naturally. There is no personal intervention needed. Getting the person involved is like saying, you remember the pink unicorn you saw on the way here? Can you get to that one to help out with understanding this? It's pure fiction. How is your notionless existence? Is it good? How is your existence when it seems to play with notions? Exactly. As simple as that. Because every notion is an idea of a limitation. The truth does not need a notion to exist. How many feel that not having a position or a reference point about myself is becoming more and more comfortable now? Let's see some hands. Here, nobody. Okay, everybody. Easy. Because this is what it is. If I said to you that all of spirituality is just not making anything out of anything, not making something out of anything that might be appearing. You know what it means to make something out of it? When you say, I made a thing, it's a thing now. You picked up a notion about it, a concept about it. So then you might say that, Ananta, if it is just this, not picking up a notion, then what is the point of the self recognition? I've seen that only those who had an insight about what they are able to drop all notions about themselves, or most notions about themselves. If you continue to believe the perception of your phenomenal state as being yourself, then there will be some or the other concept which you will find appealing. So it is in our self recognition that we see that I am beyond that. And when the mind comes with these notions, they are not so easy to believe. And as you're finding that these notions are not so easy to believe now, then the self recognition also seems so apparent. So ultimately, they are the same thing. Empty of notion, the truth is apparent. Caught up in the belief of a notion, the truth seems distant. So a couple of things are on the chat. First, Vidya says, Dear Father, would like to apologize for my Vasana question yesterday. This is not a true question, just an idle rambling of the mind. Mujiji classifies questions as either knowledge or freedom, and this was definitely not a freedom one. A little reflection made this clear, so I'm glad this question was not answered. It's clear that the why questions have no single answer. The how questions are based on the false assumption of a me. Only the who question has any relevance. I'm very grateful for you for being so approachable. Actually, I don't recall this Vasana question. Somehow maybe it didn't come to me or I missed it. But I like your report very much. So often these days I've been saying this, isn't it? How is it the mind is so attracted to these three letters, W, H, Y, and so repulsed by these three letters, W, H, O? Just one letter is different, one alphabet. Why? Why? And mostly behind the why is the why me need. And it doesn't like the question, who me? That itself is a great clue. And we switch the question to who. Then all the whys and the hows, they lose this power. Because all the whys and the hows are about the existence of phenomena. That which is without qualities and attributes does not have a why or a how. Shanti says it's not really a question here. Position or no position, it makes no difference really. It goes on and all is comfortable, in the sense that comfortable is also a notion which is not believed. Yes, but yes, more and more, it is not a problem. Very good. So this is a very good report where what you are saying is closed or open, position or no position. You see? These are the opposites. Now, what we are saying when we are talking about the no position is that which is not either of these opposites. It is not applicable, is the right answer. You see, whatever the external play might be, whatever the play of consciousness might be, whatever role the body mind might seem to be playing, it is not about that. You see? Because in this world of duality, the play will always be this way or this way. You see? Even when we are playing inert, even that is a position. We are sitting in samadhi, you see, in meditative pose. But even that becomes a position. So, what we are speaking about is that which is beyond position and no position, beyond closed and open. But as a pointer, we use terms like open and no position to get us to this neutrality. This is a good report and very helpful because it can happen that it can seem like even openness or having or neutrality is taken on by the mind as a position itself. I am just neutral. You see? Yeah. So it's not about this external facade, but what's our reality, which is beyond all of this. Therefore, truly it is not applicable. First, we'll just read what Amaya is saying, then Nitya can come up and speak. Amaya said to watch thoughts, sensations, emotions come and go seems to not throw off the awareness, even strong. But when there is a reaction faster than even hearing a thought, then it really comes. The ego smells, and something really feels like is justifying a sort of not there yet, yes. Still some place to get to thing, yes. Harder to let that one just come and go, yes. Like we are responsible for our reaction, then becomes real. Or I did that becomes real, yes. Still the hardest one to be neutral with. to be, I am not that about it. A beautiful report, isn't it? Because what happens even after a long time of these insights, it can seem like, yes, I can let this world be as it is, but we don't count this body in the world. I must give the world the freedom to be exactly how it is, but this body is not counted in that. So when we're saying that which is appearing and disappearing, when we talk about the play of the illusion Maya coming and going and therefore not reality, then what we seem to think is being spoken about is just the perceptions on this direction, but doesn't include this instrument, is it? So in this way, the mind tries to keep the individuality alive. So sometimes some reaction can just come naturally, and the mind will come and say, see, now see that. You're not free. These kind of things. So in our openness, in our not taking a position, in our neutrality, the mind tries to sell us the story of how we are not free because some things still appear to come through the body, still appear to come in the mind. But to include the play of the body in the play of the world and to see that you remain untouched. That's why even this is grace that brings us to this point to see that this body has its own natural way of functioning as well. And to not pick up guilt about what actions are coming through this one. This is very good, very good. Okay. Nihal says, Namaste, Father. First Nitya can come, then I'll read what Nihal is saying.
Hello.
Hello.
I want to speak with you. I'm not. How to say that? It's so, everything seems so strange at the moment. But what is going on here at the moment is that something just wants to contemplate on life. I don't know how to say it differently, you know, on life, like not on life in its purest form, you know. And and with that, somehow all interest is vanishing in anything, in anything, everything. It's just really not interesting at all. Everything. Also, satsang is not really interesting, but there's also no resistance to it. You know, it's not a contradiction in that sense. But and I just felt to share how the experience is. You know what I mean? And when this contemplation, like now, when the contemplation is going, it's unspeakable, but but there's an urge somehow here to find words for it and to express it somehow. And there seems to be, I don't know how to say that, but the body seems to be in the middle of everything, yeah. And because it is obvious that without the body experiencing would not happen, be here. So, and everything. There seem when I go with my attention to the outer world, like sounds or something like that, or anything, and it is so obvious that that is just actually not here. You know, it's empty. It is just empty, and there seems to be the source of it from which everything arises. And it is like, you know, like these two hands. This is the source, and this is seems to be the appearances. And but these hands both are not solid at all, and they merge. You know, like it's not. It's in a way it's different and not at all. It's just all the same and all totally empty, and it is it is, I mean, what to say? It is and even this, you know, what that causes when this contemplation is happening is just even that you are not anymore. And when I don't know how to find words for that, but you would say awareness, you know, when you rest as awareness, only then you realize you somehow you can see it like this, it seems to me. And this causes just explosions of bliss, actually. You know, it's, and and at the same time, this totally not interested in any, I don't feel interested in anything, but everything is happening like before, you know. It's just, and no resistance to anything. It is just, and it is so funny to have no interest and but also joy, you know, joy when it is not in everything, actually. Yeah. I feel I totally failed in explaining it, but I just had to somehow to speak it out. It was somehow I need to just speak it out. Thank you.
Very good. Really good. I feel like some very beautiful insights are coming. And you're right that it is when the perspective changes, it's a deeper, more intuitive, more insightful perspective, then we can see that actually the source and that which appears is not different. They are one. So I'm very happy, and I'm glad that explosions of bliss are also happening. And for those who are hearing this and also feeling that, wondering why explosions of bliss are not happening for us, that is also completely fine. So that is not a prerequisite to the report. Very, very beautiful. Thank you. Nihal said, Namaste, Father. Yes, yes, relating to this, I am feeling it harder and harder to hold on to this idea that I am dropping the mind. It feels actually more like grace is simply cleaning me of myself. When clarity comes, it was not earned. And when identity returns, it was no mistake of mine. It is just the play, and I am its humble witness, even when in ignorance. Yet still, there is a hesitancy to be complacent somehow, to let go of any responsibility, like somehow I must honor grace through effort or something like this. My dear, good to see you here. Very happy, very happy. You said, I am feeling it harder and harder to hold on to this idea that I am dropping the mind. Yes, yes. And when you say harder and harder, I am feeling it harder and harder, you must be referring to yourself as consciousness here, because it is consciousness that picks up the notion and consciousness that drops the notion. If the idea sneaks in that I personally or I, Nihal, am now in this place, or I individually have got here, you see, then that can also lead to some trouble. So it is seen that just this I am is here, and then this I am has the power to pick up notions and to drop notions. So this I am is this I am which is consciousness, which is being. There is nothing in this that Nihal did, of course, because that one doesn't exist. Then you say, it feels actually more like grace is simply cleaning me of myself. You see? So cleaning grace is cleaning grace by itself. Consciousness is cleaning, doing a cleanup job on itself. You see? When clarity comes, it was not earned. And when identity returns, it was no mistake of mine. Yes, consciousness is not making a mistake, but it is seen now that consciousness plays the game of individuality and consciousness plays the game of dropping the individuality. It is just the play, and I am its humble witness, even when in ignorance. You see? Now, if it is seen that you are that which is the witness of the entire play, you see, then you are no longer the humble witness. You see, you're the primal witness. Whatever the play might be, you are not a body-mind entity which is now just witnessing it. You are recognizing that I am that which witnesses this entire play of being. This being comes in that which we call the waking state and goes away when that which we call sleep comes. And all of this play are just content of the waking state or the dream state. I am that which witness which remains untouched no matter what the content of the play might be. Here, this witness is absolutely empty of any quality. Even the beautiful quality of humility we cannot really say. So here, why I'm stressing on this point is only because there can be this idea that this play is happening around me and I am this body mind which is the humble witness of it, you see. So that's why I picked up on that a little bit and want to clarify to you that this body is included in the play and it is moving in its own through grace. Consciousness is moving it on its own. So when you see this world as a play, then you are no longer in this world. Is it? So
Yeah.
this,
This exactly what you said, which is like the subtlest sort of picking up, even in the full sort of seeing, oh wait, even this is just play. There's somehow the mind sneaks, yes, quite subtly in as, and I, the person, am watching this play. Yes, yes, I'm seeing. And yeah, yeah, I had not seen that.
So this is very good. So as you settle into this, that the seeing is actually independent of the play, and it is not an individual seeing, then that fear about whether you're becoming complacent with this, you see? Because what can happen is sometimes our deepest insights, you see, are very beautiful as they emerge for us, and yet what the mind tries to do is sneak in, you see, and say, ah, this is very good, Mihal, you see, very good. Now you're here as this, you've changed from being this, it might say, you've changed from being this very doership oriented person type identity, and now you have become such a light, humble witness, you see. But even that is not true, because even in that, it is selling you the story of your limitation as a body mind. So the witness is not to be found in this universe. You can go as far as that. You see? So it is not that the witness is contained in the body. It is in fact the entire universe is like the apparent body of that witness. You see? So just to point out this to you, that what you're recognizing about yourself is so far beyond this phenomenal play that it is not uh, a particular body mind who is coming to this recognition, but it is so much beyond this body mind that the recognition is arising in. And of course, in the outer play, in the body mind, of course, there can be some changes which will come. The expression might change in its flavor, of course, that happens. But that is not a report about us. Really, it is not. It is just a report about how it is playing, how the body mind is now playing in the worldly way. Is it? So, is it? Because the centrality of the perspective seems to be through these eyes, you see, then it can seem like even the witness is sitting somewhere behind these eyes. But actually, it is not. Just like the dream character can also have the same visual perspective, but the entire dream occurs only within consciousness. In the same way, this body and everything around this body is also arising in the same consciousness, the same being. That which witnesses this consciousness, that which knows of your existence, that which is aware of your existence, cannot be found by any means in this phenomenal plane. This is the witness, which is the primal witness. And consciousness itself is coming to the recognition of its source. And beautiful insights are happening for you. And yet the mind will continue to try and participate in this and say, this is what's this is, tries to make a progress report about you personally, whereas what the insight is that there is no such one to even have these. Then you said, yet still there is a hesitancy to be complacent somehow. Yes. To fully let go of any responsibility, like somehow I must honor grace through effort or something like this. Yes. As long as this I who can hold some responsibility or vigilance, you see, is there, then it's suggested that you don't let go of this effort of self-inquiry. So, but as you're seeing more and more, that this I itself is fiction. The one who is making the effort itself is fictional. You see that all of this, like you already said, is a movement in grace. You see? Then you say that all of this was consciousness playing with consciousness. There was nobody who had responsibility or became complacent. All this play of opposites, it stops. But as long as it still seems like there is a I who has the choice to be complacent or responsible, pick responsible is good.
It feels like even the inquiry arises on its own. You know, the one who is inquiring. You know, because sometimes there is no inquiry, and sometimes there is inquiry. And as I'm watching, I'm sort of saying, well, why is it here sometimes and not sometimes? And then somehow it's seen, oh, I'm not inquiring at all. The inquiry is just arising also in the play. And so maybe I have this feeling like I'm very, yeah, again, it's like quite this wariness of letting go of responsibility, even as the insight comes that, wait, how can I even be responsible? The conditioning is quite strong. No, 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 you know, don't, you know, it feels like almost a trick of an insight somehow.
Yes. So this is good. And this gives us some more, little bit more fuel to inquire into. Because, you see, now the mind has created two opposite positions for you, responsible or complacence. You see? Now, the you in this case is never the real you. You see? That's why I've been saying that beyond the opposites, there is a not applicable. So it is in this play of opposites, either doer or not doer. You see? You see? I'm not doing the inquiry, the inquiry comes and goes for me, you see? But that me can still be an individualized idea about ourselves. So that is what we have to just keep smelling for a little bit. Whether the mind still has some inroads and tries to put us in a position. You see? So this answer goes then beyond my previous answer then. You see? So because obviously you're looking at this also closely. So you see that both of these alternatives are the positions that we've been talking about. But really what you truly are, does either of this, either responsibility or complacency apply to that one? It doesn't apply to that one. So now what has happened is because uh, the mind gives us a report card about how we are being. Don't become irresponsible or don't become complacent. You must be more responsible. You must not fall for this non-doership stuff, then you just become lazy or something like that. You see? And in all of this, the simple question is to say, who does all of this apply to? Rather than asking why the inquiry is not happening or happening, what are we referring to ourselves as? You see?
Yeah.
Really?
I have to pick up that one first in order to even have this.
Yes, exactly. To have this predicament, you need to first pick up a limited idea about yourself. You see? So that's why previously what I said is that if you're in the predicament, then stay with the inquiry. But if you can step back from it just one step and see that who does the predicament apply to, then you say that this is actually none of my business. It's just the nature of the play. But we have to really smell well for that, because many times these words can be taken again from the space of individuality, and then you say, okay, I don't need to inquire anymore or something like that. So truly the answer is that should I inquire or not? Not applicable. You see? But as long as the two options seem valid options, inquire.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it is a valid question. And if the question is valid, that means the questioner is valid. Therefore, the answer then must be inquire. That's why Bhagavan said, if it feels like effort to do the inquiry, even if it feels like effort, do it. Because the questioner felt that the questioner is real. Therefore, the question was real. When we come to this point where we see that inquiry or not inquiry, how does it apply to my reality is usually it's not mental like that. I'm just paraphrasing it. You see, then you see that it actually does not apply. I'm so beyond these play of opposites.
It feels like um, each time the inquiry leads to this broader seeing, that exactly this, and then for some time it's almost like a supercharged inquiry. Anytime a problem arises, to say, but oh, I must have adopted the person, and then somehow the seeing lets go of it, and uh, it's felt that each time I then recognize that, like, oh, this is a much more powerful inquiry somehow, to look, wait, okay, if there's a problem, forget about the problem for a second. If there's a problem, it must be identity. So, and then somehow, but then at some point, I guess I forget that, and then I'm back into inquiring until I see again, wait a second, even inquiry is happening for a person. And let's see. Thank you.
So welcome, my dear. So welcome. What the good news is that the truth is unchanging. No matter how caught up we might seem to have become. You see, just remember what I told you about the checker guy. Because the checker guy will come and make a report card. It's always looking for rows to add on to the report card and say, okay, you're doing this well, you're not doing this well. This is what happens when you do this. This is what happens when you don't do this. Now, a child doesn't have these things. You see, the child could have cried for the last 2 hours from pain of colic. You see, and yet when it's gone, completely fresh. So like this, we're coming to our childlike innocence, where we're not owning a past experience, whether it was a past experience of complete emptiness or nothingness, or it was a past experience of complete identification. Both are dropped away. We have no past. Because what? Because the truth now is unchanging, so therefore it doesn't need to hang on to any past experience of it. You see? Otherwise, what will happen is that a mental battle can form. You see? And some identification is being picked up, then the mind will also come and say, see, but when you inquired, you saw that you're not that. And then in this squeezing between these two opposites, it can seem like even more suffering. You see? That's why I keep reminding everyone that we don't need to go to the past for our true seeing. If it is true, then we can check just now. It's a bit subtle what I'm saying, because it can feel like we treasure our experiences of nothingness. Is it?
Yes.
That is going to become only fodder for more suffering through this contradictory battle of identification as a person and identification as that which had an experience in the past. That's why it's so fresh to be completely empty of either of these, and just the now is enough. Then there's no row in the report card which can be filled. What happened to the seeming you 5 minutes ago is irrelevant. Then the checker guy has no room to write its report card. Is it? Then with the innocence of a child is completely fresh. What is just is now. So we don't own our individuality, and we don't own our spiritual experiences. Nothing, just gone. Whatever is just is now.
Yes. It's That's beautiful. It's got quite the pastlessness is like there's quite some like resistance. It's like my narrative engine keeps kind of kickstart. Wait, no, that's exactly as you said. The story of what I've seen and not seen, and learned about seeing and not seeing. It, yes, it's quite habitual in a way. It keeps it's very beautiful. Thank you.
So welcome, my dear. Really, that's why. Otherwise, what I would have been doing is that only have spoken about that one day that I sat in front of Guruji 9 years ago. You see, all it needed was a reference point from the true insight in the past. You see? Then I would just refer to in the last so many years of satsang, I would have just been talking about that one moment and what happened there. But instead, what are we speaking about? We're speaking about just what is available right here, right now. You see? So in that way, it is seen that even the most beautiful, the most glorious experience that could have happened 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 weeks ago, it doesn't really matter. You see? That is the benefit of the truth, that we don't have to hold on to anything from the past. So this just freshness is truly like we are thrown into the deep end of the unknown. You see, we don't know anything here because we can't even rely on the experience from the past moment. We can't even rely on that we've understood a minute ago. You see, we just strip naked every moment, and we have no crutches to lean on. You see? So from that freshness, this great beauty emerges. You see? We don't even have to know that actually. You see, that can be left to be experienced fresh. So the story of Nihal is dropped. Till when? Till now. Everything till now. There's nothing. There's nothing. Sometimes the words will come automatically. You know what happened when I met Guruji, you know what happened like this. These words can come, and they are also seen from this place of just neutrality. You can see the body might have tears in its eyes, remembering the glory of the master. All these things can happen. And yet, in reality, the unchanging reality has always been the same.
This is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my love. I've always appreciated your openness, and I can hear very well that when something is shared in satsang, you are really listening. So I'm very happy with that.
You just go right to it. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
So happy to see you here.
Yeah.
So this is actually what Guruji means by nakedness. Empty of past, empty of projections about the future, empty of progress, empty of falling down, empty of anything. Completely naked as a child, innocent, not knowing anything mentally. You see the beautiful knowingness, which is the unchanging awareness. This is what Jesus meant. He said, only the children will enter the kingdom of heaven. So it becomes so clear sometimes that we've been trying to carry this non-existent me through the gates of this freedom, you see, and we see that one has to be let go of. What is here now is empty of whatever has happened. So, and what is the simplest way to understand this? And I remember saying this to you also when you were here, that don't make something out of anything. Neither the something that was seemingly pleasant in the past, nor the seemingly unpleasant in the past. Either horrific or sublime. Nothing is a thing. Because the beauty of what already is here now is unparalleled from whatever it could have been in the past. So no room now for checker guy. What happened to you? Nothing. What did you speak about? Nothing. Did you understand it? No. You have to keep it? Nothing. Because already in the now, you are that.
I've noticed when it's like the now almost becomes like a physical, it feels, you know, it just becomes like tangible, you know, and
Yes.
it's the most beautiful thing.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's look at some more comments. Abhay says, thank you, Father, for finishing me. I wonder who is happy and grateful here. Yes. Happiness and gratefulness is only you. Very good. This wonder is very good. This wonder is where Bulle Shah spoke from, isn't it? I don't know who I am. Bulla ki jana main kaun. There is nobody individually being grateful, and yet gratitude is here. Wonder is here. All my love and blessings to you, my dear. Anil says, Namaste, Father. This primordial witnessing, does it really have a witness in it other than consciousness as witness? There is no witness in it, because anytime we just say witness, it implies that there must be some attribute. Then it can feel like there is a witness which has witnessing, or witnessing which has the witness. No, it is just the witnessing, but it is not what we call perception. That's why in satsang here, I know that many times we get confused between terms. So consciousness has the power to perceive. That which is aware of even consciousness is that which we call the primordial, the primal witnessing, the primal awareness. So it doesn't have anything in it. Actually, I'm a bit hesitant to tell you this because, okay, you hear it and then forget about it. Because don't make something out of it. Even ultimately, we can say that none of this, not even consciousness has ever happened. Only the awareness only is.
No, Father, there is nothing to grasp. I'm already in that state.
Very good. Very good.
The problem is we play.
In that state, there can be no problem.
Father, you want a certification from Pushpa and Abhishek what to do?
That they can tell me separately.
Father, I have one more very basic question. This isness which Guruji has been pointing to in his exercise, this isness is, you can't talk to this isness. it is not possible to communicate with this. It is like a Shiva in complete meditation. Don't mind my words, huh? Don't mind my words. But whatever I'm saying from the experience and truthfully. There is no faking in this. I mean, it never opens the eyes. Like just now you said, consciousness has never happened. So when you talk of the Astavakra, and then you say that the key pointer is that I'm the solitary witness of all that is. It seems like a joke to me. It really seems like a joke to me. I mean, the truth has no ears, no mouth, no cognition, nothing. It has never
Pause.
tasted. It has, sorry.
Okay, pause. What did I just say about this witnessing? That we talk about the primal witness, not being the perceiving. When we talk about sight, seeing, taste, touch, all of this is perception. The objects of perception are perceived. So that is what the world usually calls witnessing. See? Now, what is aware of this? This awareness is not of this.
Father,
There is,
the problem is neither I can talk about it nor you can talk about it. The communication cannot happen at that level actually.
Acha, then what are we doing here?
That is what I want to ask you.
Why you log into Zoom?
Huh? Yeah. I don't know.
It is like you have that same infection, you see. Knock on my door and say, when I open the door and say, okay, how can I help you? Oh, you can't help me. So why you knock on the door then?
Father, I see. I don't know what is happening actually, because when you see all the three things at the same time and you are all of these three, it is like when I look into the mirror of the awareness, I am awareness. When I look into the mirror of the consciousness, I am consciousness. When I look into the mirror of the ego, I am highly nasty ego. I don't know what is happening. I really don't know what is happening. This play is not in my control.
Yes, because the I is not a steady one, no, for you. 1 minute it becomes awareness, 1 minute it becomes just beyond even awareness, all kinds of things the I will become. Sometimes it becomes very personal, sometimes it becomes God, sometimes it becomes awareness. So satsang is for this, emptying out this unsteadiness, emptying out these conditions that we are so attracted to.
Father,
I have given you
I
the
am
best.
not. Just a minute. Let me complete, Father. Let me complete. Otherwise, what happens? Something remains inside. Then there is a craving to come to you.
I
What
felt
is?
that to speak or not speak was my prerogative, but apparently it isn't. So you can say,
No, Father. It is perfectly fine. If you ask me to shut up, I will shut up.
I just wanted to remind you of one thing, which is that many months ago, I have given you the only tip which will work with you. The only tip which will work with you, which is to be at my father's feet. Now you said that for many months I did not understand this tip. Now I understood it. Now if you understood it, then where is all of this coming from?
It is coming from as if there is a compulsion on my part to hear what is being said in the satsang. I feel no need to hear. I like seeing you all the time, all those 2 hours, and bask in love with you. That is enough for me.
Yes, you see, we are so attached to our position that we say, if I have a master, he must only be like this. He must not speak. I must just sit in his presence and feel love. Then you must be the master and I must be the disciple. If already you know how it must be.
This is all very, very confusing actually. I don't know if I am playing with you or you are playing with me. It is very, very confusing.
Are you enjoying the play?
Me? No, I'm not enjoying the play.
Then,
This play I'm pulled into.
yes, then you must remain at my Father's feet.
I am.
This is not it.
What is lagging, Father?
This.
I feel I'm doing the forced seeking. I'm seeking forcefully actually because my natural position is not like this.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. That why are you troubling yourself so much with all of this? Just stay at my Father's feet.
Can I take a break from satsang for some time?
You see, now, of course you can. There's no problem with that. But I just want to say that the answer will not come in a position. At my
No.
Father's feet, you must be empty of all positions, including whether you have to break from satsang or to be in satsang. You see, as long as you have an idea about yourself, then where are you at my Father's feet?
Father, as a matter of fact, when uh, when you are in the truth, I don't even recognize myself. How will I recognize my guru?
See, all this is the problem.
What is this actually? I'm really earnestly seeking advice from you.
Okay, very good. If you're earnestly asking this, now, right now, is any of this relevant in this very moment from your inside? Without
No.
any, no. Then why you leave this?
Why do I what?
Why do you leave this?
Why don't I
Okay,
leave this?
no. Okay, let me make it clear. This now, when you are empty of all positions and without inferences, there is no trouble. This is my Father's feet. You are an unassociated presence. Now, if you exchange it for any notion, no matter how good it sounds to you, it might sound like if I say this, it'll be the most impressive thing I can ever say. See? No matter how good the notion sounds to you, you don't leave my Father's feet for that notion.
Okay, shall I tell you where I'm
This,
stuck? Where I'm stuck?
listen, this
No,
is the
please.
notion. No, you have to listen. You see?
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
Right now, you have no trouble. Right now, till you invent it with your next notion. This right now is your unassociated presence. This is my Father's feet. I'm explaining it to you very clearly. Now, don't exchange this for any gift. Like Nachiketa, who said no to Yamaraj when he was offered everything that the universe had to offer. Don't exchange it for any idea about yourself. Whether you're confused, not confused, whether you got it, if your awareness, whether the witness is a joke, whether Ashtavakra is talking nonsense, forget all of it.
Fine, Father.
Don't pick it up. This is what it means to stay at my Father's feet.
Thank you, Father. Actually, I don't know whom to open up before whom to ask. I have nobody else other than you.
Yes. Now don't pick up this notion and stay at my Father's feet.
Fine, Father. I got it. I mean, not really as I got it from the mind, but
Yes, got it. That's not what you
okay.
Good.
I was craving, I was suffering for last 2 months to be at your feet in Bangalore. But now I'm not suffering.
There is no suffering at my Father's feet.
Yeah. You have to keep doing like this. Otherwise, very, very stubborn, very, very forgetful.
Actually, this is for all of us. All of us. This is what all of satsang is. Don't exchange the Sadguru for any notion about yourself. even if it is the most glorious notion you can think of. I said, no, the ego will present very well-dressed thoughts, the holiest concepts. Beyond Ashtavakra, we want to go. Huh? You see, forget that one. That is the trickster.
Yes.
Don't exchange my father's speech for any notion about yourself. I'm telling you, it will be a very bad bargain that you will make.
Father, I will never ever bargain on this. And I can still play with you to some extent. To some extent, I do play with you. But with Bhagwan, no way. No way. I can't even think of playing with him. That is why when I came in contact with you last year, I was not in favor of talking to you as a father. Because for me, word Bhagwan has a lot of meaning for me. Lot of meaning for
What
me.
did I just say? This is the habit, you see? This is the habit. The me comes back so fast. My father's feet are forgotten. Then we make distinction, Bhagwan, you, Guruji is like this, you are like this, Bhagwan is like this. I can do this with you. Not knowing that it is the same voice which speaks through all instruments.
फादर मेरा कुछ नहीं हो सकता, कुछ नहीं हो सकता. मेरी इतनी बुरी तरह से टेंडेंसीज और हैबिट है.
I'm going to send a poster to you which says, don't pick this up.
I'm very, very thankful, Father. You are so patient with me. The whole Sangha is patient with me. Thank you so much.
You might feel like I'm being harsh with you or something like this, but
No way.
the pointing is for everyone. This is the root of satsang. Okay, this is the root of satsang. Your unassociated presence is the Sadguru. It is my father's speech. Don't exchange it for the holiest notion, no matter what it be. See? We said it in a different way at the start of satsang. We're saying it a different way at the end of satsang, but the pointing is the same. We've indulged this voice, this mind for too long, this non-existent me for too long. Now just rest at my father's feet. All of you. My blessing
I
to all.
guess I will have to get off from the Facebook also because there's too much stuff, floating around. Who said what, and context is given, context is not given. The mind gets rebooted again and again.
I have told you this a few months ago.
Yes, I know. Father, आराम से हो रहा है सब कुछ, मेरे हाथ में नहीं है.
Don't pick up any notion.
Okay. Will you be having a satsang on 2nd October?
Yes, Monday, no? Monday, yes.
Monday. I will see if I come next week.
This is our story, actually. We might feel like it's just a new story, but this is our story. This is our story. We exchange this pristine beauty, beyond beauty, this pristine beauty. Just a notion about that. I actually have some guests on the other side of my house and I've not paid any attention to them for some time. I'm sorry about the messages that I missed online. Read them and post them next time. I'll be happy to. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.